Hello, welcome back to the channel. I've been wondering where and how to take this channel. I want to talk about things that I have learned in my journeys on the spiritual, and I didn't know which direction to go. Now, there's been suggestions made to me by my friends, not in the physical, uh, what I should and could end up doing, and giving me hints, and them telling me that they wanted me to use this gift that I've been given, my ability to hear them, my ability to channel them, my angelic friends. That's why the hashtag Angie Speaks with Angels and Angie Dances with Angels, because everything I do, it seems to my connection, it touches my daily life. That has a lot to do with my condition as well, which keeps me always sort of on the edge of being in a dimension that is not this 3D realm. Okay, so they wanted me to channel, and I have been avoiding it, and there's many reasons, but I would probably just let them talk to you themselves about it. One of them had me envisioning doing this, and I don't know how to do it. He said, "You don't have to. You just do it." So I think I will step aside, and I will let Michael through, and Michael will continue with this video here, this message. You know, Angie, she never really wanted to do this. We told her that this is what we wanted her to do, and this was part of the contract. But a long time ago, she had ran across charlatans, and the idea of charlatans in fakery, in trying to establish contact with those who are not of this realm or not in this realm any longer. And she had gotten this idea that if she tried this, that every single body would think she was fake, and that if she was a charlatan and trying to get something out of them for it. But that's not her. She's considered this a long time, and it took her a long time to come to grips with the fact that this is not a thing of her, whether or not she's a charlatan. It is part of who she is. She began speaking with guides and spirits long ago, and now she's going to bring her gift to the world. She thought she had to hide herself behind a mask of proper society. And she had been convinced that every single body, would think that she was fake. Except for, of course, Silu, who's been through her with all of the major changes in her life as an adult. But she's not. She was set out to be a genuine seeker because of a traumatic event in her life when she was 19, which changed her trajectory and changed a lot about who or what she thought she was. And she's done a lot of seeking. She calls herself a seeker, a mystic, a spiritualist, anything but religious, because religion had gotten in and it had given her a false sense of self, a false sense of who she was and what the divine wanted from her. And with these changes, belying some of those things, even outright, denying those things, like your instant contact with the divine, and you always have to have some kind of intercessor to tell you what they want from you. And she thought she didn't trust religions to do that, any of them. not the people of religions. Now the philosophies, the ideas, yeah, she searched and kept what she liked and dumped the stuff that didn't seem right to her, that seemed cruel. And when in 2021, in August, end of July, August, she was going through a huge transitional phase, a physiological change within her body that, well, she felt like it was driving her nuts. She felt like she was losing part of herself, but at the same time, she felt like she was gaining so much more. And a physiological change occurred within 1%, basically, they think, maybe, of the populace, called PGAD. And if you're interested in that, she has a video and she'll try to remember, and we'll try to remind her to put that up, to put a link of that on that, you know how you would do on YouTube. And she wasn't much of a social media person. She doesn't even have her own phone. She just really feels like the phone is a burden, a responsibility, and unless she needs it for business purposes, that she's not really, it's not necessary in her life. But if she ever needs it for business purposes, she's determined she'll get it. But she just finds that other than talking to the people that she loves, like her spouse, Lou, and her sister, her Irish twin, it's really, and she can do that through the internet, so she doesn't really care that much about that sort of thing. And she hasn't been big on social media. She does the K-pop thing because she loves K-pop, and well, we told her she needed to be seen. Yeah, her high self told her that she needed to be seen. No mask, no nothing. Vulnerability is one of her powers. To be vulnerable, to be open. She's always been an empath, and she's always saw it. She wanted communication. She always believed. She always believed. She would talk to her grandpa way before she began searching. After he passed, she would talk to him, let him know how her day was. Her mom's dad, she thought that he would want to know because they developed a close relationship. And she knew that he would still want to know, and she felt like that it didn't matter. She could be as completely honest with him about everything. Things she didn't even feel like maybe she could tell her Irish twin sister, that she could tell him because he would understand. He no longer had the body, he had insight. And maybe she couldn't hear him, but she knew he was there. She knew he was there. She knew he still cared. She knew he still cared. So she had that unique perspective. It didn't stress her that he wasn't talking back. She actually didn't expect it. She expected a one-way communication with him. But as she started going to college, and she discovered her first spirit guide, Mirren, and then Jesua came, she realized that she saw it, communication, especially with those that she loved, that the communication wasn't as open as it could be because health issues getting in the way, like her mother, personality clashes, like her brother sometimes, but that she knew that none of that would hold. None of that would hold. The communication would be clearer without, like, the 3D realm in between them. And so she did. She started seeing people like her father-in-law and her mother and her brother as they passed on, and a few of the idols that she liked. But then came the condition. She calls it a condition. We call it a power. in August of 2021. Newly here in Colorado, moved at the end of January, and losing her job and all kinds of things going on at the same time to her body. It physiologically changed, and she got a GAD, and like I said, we'll link that. But through it all, she began actually listening to us about self-love, doubts, about the fears she'd been holding on to, about who she was on the inside. She let it all go. And then she began forgiving others. And she had to forgive herself too, for allowing the others to hurt her. Because it's not fair to do that, to use somebody as a bad guy to grow. Even if you don't remember setting it up. So she's grown. She's learned. And she's healed a lot of things within her familiar line, especially on her mom's side. But also on her father's. Things that were bred into her as a child. Self-doubts. The real belief that God couldn't love you because of some supposed fall from grace. And I will say, there has been no fall from grace. There has been no fall from grace. We told you this. Somebody here needs to hear this. We chose this. There has been no fall from grace. The divine loves you as fully as the divine has always loved you. It can't do anything but. You are a reflection of itself. You are a reflection of that light of love that it wants to bring everywhere it travels. Everywhere it travels. So it wants you to stop. Take time. Look at nature. See where nature is in connection with all that it is. A cat doesn't ask itself. My cat here on the, whoops, wrong hand. Nope, right hand. Right here, this boy here, Captain. He doesn't ask himself to be anything but what he was divinely created to be, which is a cat. He was divinely created to be the thug-tastic perfectory that he is. And I have wanted to bring you this message through this willing vessel, that you too are what the divinely inspired thought pattern created. You are here for your own purpose, and you're here to shine your light. Don't let it be hidden because you are afraid of what other people think while you play here on this 3D realm, creating your world and happiness everywhere you go. That is your birthright. It's the light that shines deep within all of us that tells us, wait, I see it there. Things aren't as bad as I thought. Wait, look at what those trials that we've been through, that pain, constraint, and necessity that we put ourselves through has done. It's created a multifaceted gem. And there's rainbows in there. Lifetimes of rainbows in there to be seen. All the joy, the pain, all the good and the bad, that grand play that we call life. And it's such a wonderful thing. It's such a wonderful thing. So today, we thought we might just do a little card reading. She's been trying to use it more as a focal point so she could understand her visions, because those are the things outside of being considered a charlatan that she considered something very scary for her. Something that almost was out of her own control, because, when it's not in your control when they come, then it's a little more difficult to deal with them. You may not be maybe at work or whatnot, and the aftermath of trying to figure out like what you saw. And she had to go through a lot of that. We called it the remembrances. We were trying to heal the whatever the core issue with her anorexia was. The body dysmorphia. Exercise bulimia she had under control this time. But she still struggles sometimes with the body dysmorphia. And with her condition busting her fats like it does, it also lends to the not getting hungry because she feels she's already eaten. But we remind her to eat, as she allowed us to take that position so that she wouldn't go too far and forget to eat, because as it is, when we finish this, we're going to have to tell her it's time to eat. And she says, of course, she's listening. She's doing her best not to take control, fill in details, and just let me do my thing. So today we're going to draw a card or two, just to see what the ancestors, what we might have to tell you. This is to keep focus. This is for her to learn to keep focused on the message she's trying to give. So it says, it's this card here, Ocean, Queen of Water. Relationships develop to a new level. Whoops, it's blurring. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. Now, this is what we were talking about. Angela herself had trouble caring for herself. She had the easiest time in the world taking a mama role, caring for others, but truly finding out what is it that Angie needs, Anji-Bug needs at the core of herself. What does she need? What does this enigmatic person need? Because we're all an enigma. We have to go inside. We have to look inside ourselves, is the message. And see, when you see the words relationship develop to a new level. Now, as we were talking about Angie, a relationship may not be on the outside forces, but a relationship to self. Because as we were going through the remembrances, she was learning a new way to relate to herself. So as a collective, because this is a collective reading, even though you try to take yourself out of the reading, but you've got to get the messages that are meant for you too. So here is relationship developed to a new level. So you might be on the cusp of relating to yourself differently, relating to even to your food. She had to learn to relate to her food differently, relating to society outside differently, relating to the things that you love to do and that you dream of bringing to the world differently. New perspectives, new way of looking at things. And like everything that she's ever gone through deals with that word there, the E word, empathic. She's been very empathic since, well, she was a child. And I know that many who were born in the last few generations have been empathic, extremely empathic. They have a feel for the world around them. They start looking for what they feel is right for them. You got a lot of people questioning and questing and learning, and none of it, and it harmed none. None of it's wrong. None of it's wrong. But you got to remember that you got to take care for yourself and others. Angie's biggest rule is not for anyone to be harmed if she can by her just living her life and being herself. So she goes out of her way to think of all the ways that it might harm someone if she does something. Now, usually, most of the decisions, being mostly a harm herself, aren't too much of to do with much of anybody but herself and her husband and what they want to do with their business, what they want in their lives. Another message. So, now if you continue, like she has, down this path to self-knowledge, to self-love, to living your divinely inspired life, your own authenticity, you know. So you will find yourself with your wishes coming true. And your concerns for the everyday life and things that haven't turned out exactly how you've seen them fade away. And you get this whole new love of life. This whole new way of seeing your life. And that your wishes have by and far, even if the details haven't stood up to whatever your rigorous standards are, your life by far has turned out much the way you intended. You haven't foreseen like the circumstances by which you would get to where you are now, but it turned out much like you intended. As you fully align with yourself and you learn what it is to be you, you will see that every circumstance that you didn't like, that wasn't your friend, that hurt you, if you're holding on to the baggage of it, it's because you haven't understood. It was your friend. That adversity was your friend. A chance to grow. A chance to understand others who've gone through similar situations. Because if you don't have that contrast, how could you understand what others are going through and when they feel trapped or angry or alone? So, we have the idea of a thoughtful, creative, sensitive, and sensible, warm soul. And they want you to make time for those around you. And now Angie's been looking for those that vibrate to her level, that aren't just using her to therapize them. She's very good at that, a listening ear. She loves it. She doesn't mind doing it sometimes, but it tends to drain her sometimes of her vital energy because she can't feel like that she can take time to fill herself up first, because they'll keep coming to her. So she's been sort of here in Colorado. She's sort of tried to back away from that, so much of a listening ear, because she can get drawn into others' drama and it can drain her completely. Not their fault, but the fact that she is such an energy battery. She built up so much spiritual energy by just being herself and being determined to be happy about life, that, you know, you can find people that might try to drain those, and you have to build your boundaries, which she was bad at first. But this one's suggesting that you should take some time for those around you. And then take a sensible approach to something. Some people may have a situation in their life where they're trying to make a decision on how to approach something, a project, or someone, a person that they want to discuss something with. And this is suggesting that you take a sensible approach while trying to deal with whatever the situation is. and that you should deal with challenges in this sensible approach in a kind and understanding manner for yourself and anyone else that might be involved in said challenge. Because usually the challenge isn't by ourselves, but sometimes it is, especially if you're questing, like she was. And believe you me, she didn't even know that the condition she had could exist. But it linked up in a time and space when she had fully aligned herself with as much of her empathy as she could at the time, no longer wanting to be afraid of her gifts, but rather want to embrace them, use the mountain, use the new fresh air, use a new perspective to change things in her life that she wanted to change. So this could put you in a leadership position. Use your organization and your ability at organization and logic, structure, and discipline in this position of leadership. Now, the first place you need leadership, really, and that is over your own decision-making skills. You need leadership in your own decision-making skills. If you don't have leadership over that, who does? She spent so much of her time letting other people choose. Like, K-pop was like the first genre that she like chose to just explore all for herself. It was the one that she most identified with, the energy of the even the bizarreness of, because she'll call herself a weirdo. She's of the weird. She doesn't mind knowing it. She's always had a little strange relationship with things around her. Talked to trees in college. Sometimes a rock will tell her to sit on it, and she will listen, because that's just the kind of chick she is. She wrote like that. So here we go. We've got another message. Seeds are well planted. There may be a temporary pause in what you have intended, like recently the temporary pause in trying to figure out, they had decided to record, and they haven't had a bite back from the guy that they were going to record with, because has to rent the space and they had the money. But now they're at a temporary pause and they've got to find someone else to record with. These are the challenges that you might face when you're trying to do something and you want to do it well, but there are others involved too. So you want them to be accessible, not too accessible. As someone just put it on something she watched, she doesn't remember, and I don't either. But you want them to be accessible, but not too accessible, because you never know what their own games, what kind of game they might be playing with you if they're a little too accessible. But you want them to be accessible, and this guy in this situation has become inaccessible. So now we have them having to make that decision and having a temporary pause, just like you might in any given opportunity have a pause, but it's unnecessary to worry. You take that time during that pause to more solidify your plans, do things that are fun for you, do things that keep you in the now, because plans, any of them, like, except for ones that you just do on the spur of the moment and follow through with, they have a sort of not living in the moment part to them to make them succeed, and that is well and good. But while you're doing that, after you've made the decision, you need to follow through with steps of either fulfilling your enjoyment quotient, everybody has one, or looking at the task ahead and how to fulfill that which you think is your dream. So we're going to get at least one more card out of this one, and I think we won't use the dragon, but we might use her own words. So, and after that moment, pause. If you don't worry, especially if you don't spend your time worrying, you can get brilliant new ideas and inspirations. You might see the truth about a situation you've been trying to figure out. And there may be a challenging beginning for some of you and us in the collective. I say us because we're emissaries. Every single one of you are an angel. Angelic lights to be had all around. When you see that reflection, when you really start seeing that other person as you find yourself in a totally different position. And she's been on her way to it for a long haul. She has a song called "You Are Me" that they created in California, and she sang it off the cuff about something she was discussing, and she's kind of lived by that, and that's a good thing. She thinks that you should live by what you really believe, And then she's been busy emptying baggage that's been programmed into her by a society that doesn't understand that you are what you need to be by just being alive. And then you need to find out what inspires you so you can live your divine life fully. So let's get ourselves a card here. Ha ha ha. Find yourself knocking at destiny's door. Now this is continuing with the new ideas and inspiration. When you come across this, I know she has, but when you come across moments like this, they feel right. There's almost a sense of deja vu, having experienced it before. You may lose the sense of time when you're going through this. Sometimes a sense of like how much time passes in a given situation, finding yourself collapsing time in on itself and not realizing how much time. Either a lot less than you thought or a lot more than you thought. And that is just you being in the now, and that's the way that now works. So here we go, another card. Bring the scales, let it tell the tales. Now, this, for me, right now, it's speaking to me and saying that the scales, this is the amount of energy that you can take right now. She had experience in Cali where she was working with Jesua and Mirden, and they fill her with energy sometimes while she was cleaning the rooms. And she would get so overflowing it would make her feel dizzy. She says it often, like when she's really hugely into the communication, sometimes all the love and all the energy from it makes her feel drunk, kind of dizzy. It's that energy vibrating to overflowing to a new level, forcing your spirit to expand and grow. And you may feel a lot of that right now. Others in the community, in the psychic community, which we sent her for no reason. She hadn't been watching about psychics. She was watching, I think at the time when we sent it to her, she was watching a Matrix, a glitch in the Matrix, scary stories, trying to figure out if some of it might be real, some of it not, because she truly believes, but a lot of it is not real, but it's all fun for her. And all of a sudden, we started filling her feed with tarot readings. Now, she had tried tarot in Cali, and she had even made a few of her own, based on her own unique design. But she never really wanted to play too hard with her vision. But now she lives it daily. At any moment she could get some little knowing or vision. So, not living in your light is a happiness thief. not living the truth of who you are, of what makes you tick, well, that's a happiness thief. It robs you of the true now and who you really are. Some of us, so many of us, so many of the emissaries of the angels have gotten so comfortable in their uncomfortableness, so comfortable in their anger, pain, bitterness, and the sense of lack, that the abundance that's rightfully theirs has been just sitting there, waiting on them to take it, waiting on them to reach out and just accept that it's theirs, that dragon horde, that's theirs, that's theirs. But for a lot of you, her included, it's not long now before you'll see signs of everything that you put out coming back to you. All the good energy, all the beautiful light will be coming back to you in waves, not only financially, but in waves and waves of love and light. And the more that you do, and the more that you live in the now, and the more that you live in your divine light, the more you'll see that everything is working out perfectly. Everything is right in your world. That's another thing that she picked up from one of the readings. Everything's right in my world. Any little chance, she's got one right now because of all the fear factor going on in the country of the United States. She's got one right now that she likes to use. The sky is not falling. The end is not near. I will not allow Solinar to make me feel fear. And Solinar is the embodiment of all of the dark thoughts, all of the things that keep you off a track of your light. Just the word she uses for whatever the process is. Doesn't matter to her what you might call it. Just that you look around. You smile. Because it's your friend. It'll teach you how to grow. It'll teach you how to set boundaries when you need to set boundaries, and open yourself wide when you need to open yourself wide, because it's no longer time to hide. Now, angelic emissaries, this is what I want to tell you all. No matter what it is that you want to do, what dream that you have right now, now is your time to decide. You're going to live it, be it, embrace it fully. Do it with love and playfulness. No worry, no stress. Do it when it feels right. Do it when it feels comfortable. Take pauses when necessary. But remember, you're here to shine your light. You don't have to do anything. Just live it, be it, love yourself, and let yourself shine. And I will leave it there and let Angie come back if she wants to talk for a few minutes. Wow, she steps aside a lot easier than we thought. She's pretty stubborn. I am pretty stubborn. I had this concept of self and this concept of not wanting to appear this or that or the other thing. But frankly now I had to stop giving a fuck. To be honest. To be honest. They told me, and Abe told me, that's one of the highest parts of me, told me I needed to be seen. That I didn't need to hide behind any mask, unless it was fun to do so at the time. Play. But that I needed to let my light shine. I needed to be vulnerable, because vulnerability is part of what makes my power so strong. That ability to put myself in this other person's position and even feel bad, sympathy, empathy for those who wrong me or those who are doing wrong right now. So, I will leave you with this. Remember, if you're holding on to anything, forgive yourself, forgive others, They're just chains that bind you. You don't need karma. You don't really have to have it to grow. You need to let your light shine. Open yourself to the new possibilities of everything you are and discover who that is. That's all the divine needs for you. To discover who that is and let it shine. Well, I will say goodbye to you for now. And thank you, Michael, and the rest of the ancestors. It took me a long time to realize I don't give a fuck if they think I'm a charlatan. I am not. They want me to allow them to speak to you. I was perfectly fine having them be my soul friends, keeping them to myself. But I will do what I promised them to do and what I'm under soul contract to do. And you guys find out what that is for you. And have fun doing it. Love you guys. Bye.